Welcome back, guys. This is going to be a thrift blowout video. I've been on a run or a roll of thrift finds recently after a bit of a slow period, so we're going to get right into it. I popped into one of my local thrift stores one day and didn't find a whole lot there. It's kind of slim pickings, but I found a couple of singles. Teagarden and Van Winkle on Westbound, God, Love, and Rock and Roll. Early 70s on this one, 71, 72-ish, I believe. Got a bit of a drum break on there from what I've heard. Five-man electrical band with Signs, great Canadian classic from 1971. For some reason I didn't have in my collection. This one I'll probably pass on at some point, but it was in too good condition to leave behind. Elvis, America, 1977, red vinyl, very nice condition. And last up, some glam rock out of my area, Vancouver, Canada. Sweeney Todd with their big hit Roxy Roller from 1975, and unusually it's a UK pressing on London. Roxy Roller put out a couple of albums in the mid-70s. I think this was from their first one with lead singer Nick Gilder, who left to go solo. Had a big hit with Hot Child in the City. And for their next album they enlisted some young kid named Bryan Adams as lead singer. So don't know whatever happened to him. Now, I wasn't going to go back to this thrift store for a while, but I ended up having to be in the area anyway the next day. So walk in, you know how it is, you walk up to the thrift vinyl bins, kind of looks business as usual from the front. So you start flipping in and it's a couple of records in, it's like, oh, might be onto something here. Well, that happened the very next day after finding those singles, because these LPs were not there the day before. What a difference a day makes, as the song goes. First one is was a blind buy. Wasn't too sure what this was going to be. It is a French one out of Quebec, Canada, 1972. Blancheville, kind of intriguing cover art. I was kind of worried it was going to be some kind of children's record, which it more or less is. It's like a spoken word narration telling the story of all these characters. Written by Benoit Leherbier, who was a journalist and broadcaster type guy. It's on the Ballad label. But what caught my eye on this one, it says, if you can see that, Musique de Richard Seguin. Now I just got turned on to Richard Seguin very recently in another thrift find, so I'll show this quickly, just a segue. This was not part of this one thrift haul. I found this a week or two before. Fiori Seguin. This is kind of a progressive folk album out of Quebec from 1978. Kind of a one-off collaboration between Richard Seguin, who is progressive folk artist through the 70s, and Serge Fiori, who was in the Quebec progressive rock group Harmonium, which I've been collecting their LPs. I showed them in one of my other thrift haul videos. So kind of a cool folky album from Quebec. There's a couple more kids records there. You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown, and Charlie Brown Christmas. I bought these for my kids. They like the Charlie Brown characters, so I'm going to surprise them with that. They're in really nice shape, which you don't normally see. This is getting back to the big thrift haul at that one store. I found a couple by Stompin' Tom Connors. I don't think I've ever seen any Stompin' Tom on vinyl before. For those of you who haven't heard of him, he was a Canadian institution, kind of a folk singer-songwriter. Very kind of working man perspective, wrote a lot of topical songs about historical events of the day. Very defiantly Canadian. He stayed in Canada his whole career, didn't have a lot of respect for Canadian artists that went to America to pursue their careers. But I found two LPs by him. Stompin' Tom meets Muck Tuck Annie. There he is there. Wore that hat every day. Never took it off, even to meet Queen Elizabeth. He wrote apparently more than 300 songs, including the hockey song, which is kind of a anthem. It's been played at NHL games in Canada for many, many years. Another one by him, Stompin' Tom, To It and At It. What is it? To It and At It, yeah. Stompin' Tom Connors. So named because he would always stomp his feet while he was singing to keep the beat. Found a couple of country ones. These were, I wasn't too familiar with these, but they looked interesting. Real diverse haul of this one. Mary Kay Place. Tonight at the Capri Lounge, Loretta Haggard's. Mary Kay Place was an actress who put out a couple of albums. This is our first one from 1976, and she played a character, aspiring country singer called Loretta Haggard's, kind of inspired by Dolly Parton, on a TV show called Mary Hartman, which was kind of a soap opera parody. And that was a character she played. So this album was kind of in character, I guess you would say. Just kind of honky-tonk, late 70s traditional country. Got some nice guest stars on here. Emmylou Harris, Rodney Crowell, Dolly Parton is on here herself. So she had some connections. And also it's got a signature on there, Mary Kay Place. And also found at the same time her second one, Aiming to Please. Not quite as good as that first one, but still pretty decent. And again, got Emmylou Harris on here. Nicolette Larson. Willie Nelson does a duet on here. Leon Russell is on piano. So pretty good guest stars on here. And there's an inscription on the back here as well. To Glenn with Vitamin L. Ooh, which is the name of one of her songs from that first album. Mary Kay Place, and then it says Bradley Hartman twice. Which is kind of weird because Glenn apparently is the keyboard player and Bradley Hartman is the engineer. So I don't know why these... don't know quite the story behind those signatures. Kind of interesting. Moving on, I found one by Mo Kaufman, kind of a Canadian jazz guy. Master Session. This is on the Canadian GRT label. I kind of always like to pick those up when I see them. A diverse roster of releases. This is more or less classical music by Debussy, Mozart, and all that, but given kind of a rock, given very much a jazz interpretation with drums and electric guitar. So kind of interesting. I've never picked anything up by him before. Keeping on, still on the same thrift haul. Wheels by the Tokens, best known for The Lion Sleeps Tonight. I'd never seen an LP by them before. RCA, this is them kind of taking a page from the Beach Boys playbook at the time and doing all these hot rod and car songs. They even covered Little Deuce Coupe, Shut Down, 409, all those songs very much in that Beach Boys style of the period. Billy Joel Royal, Cherry Hill Park, one of his big hits, also known for Down in the Boondocks. Columbia 2i, immaculate condition on this one, still in shrink. One of his big hits, 1969 I think on this one. Pretty common one here, I have this already. I'll have to check if it's an upgrade, but it's the Association Greatest Hits, again, still in shrink, and gold Warner Brothers label. Not too much to say about that one. This is one I'd seen posted lots of times. I've never seen a copy before, and it was in there. Tracy by the Cufflinks. Very sweet cover there. Decca label, still in shrink again. Beautiful condition. Just kind of well-crafted 60s pop. Nicely arranged, nicely written. Great stuff. Bobby Gentry, Ode to Billy Joe. Again, immaculate condition. Capital Rainbow. Have this already, but can't leave that behind in that condition. Getting into the heavy hitters out of this thrift haul. I think this was maybe the first one I spotted. I knew I was onto something. Tangerine Dream, Rubicon. Gatefold. Beautiful condition here. And on the Virgin label. And unusually it's got a sticker on here, CKVU 13, which is a local TV station. I was definitely watching that TV channel around that time and later. So why they had a vinyl record, I'm not too sure. There was a couple more by Tangerine Dream there. Stratosphere, this is one I had already. I actually found the other copy in a thrift as well a couple of years ago. But the other copy is a later pressing on the red Virgin label, and it's not a gatefold. That is Virgin and immaculate condition. And there was also Encore, their live one. It's a double LP, yes, double LP, gatefold, beautiful condition. These last two out of this thrift haul, I was really surprised to see in the condition they're in. Jefferson Airplane Takes Off. I have this already. It's a nice copy, but it's got kind of the wear you would expect from a white cover. This is just in immaculate condition. A little bit of dust. Just crazy to find that in a thrift. And also there at the same time, last one from this particular haul, Surrealistic Pillow. Look at that cover. Kind of got some stickers on there, but other than that, perfect condition. Few little tiny light marks, but excellent shape. This one I have a nice copy of this already. I'll have to kind of compare the two. So that was one day's thrift haul. I also had a couple other small hauls I'll throw in there real quickly. At a different store, I found some Israeli records. I don't know anything about Israeli music. I've got the Rough Guide to World Music. That doesn't really even have too much to say about it. Haven't listened to all of these yet, but I'll have a quick look at them. This is a various artists one, Israeli Song Festival 1969. Just kind of various pop songs on there. I've listened to that one. This one I actually just listened to this morning. It's pretty dope, I must say. It's got a plastic sleeve on here from presumably from somewhere in Israel. Top 1 Stamford Street, Netanya. Interesting. The Best of Ilanet. Also Elon and Ilanet. I guess it was a duo on some tracks. Kind of, I would say, these are all Israeli pressings. This one's on the Head RZ label. 1973. Yeah. I would say kind of Dusty Springfield-ish, but a little more on the folk side, a little more on the kind of the late 60s swinging girl pop side. Very cool one there. A lot of the covers attracted me on this one, made me take a chance on them. This one is Chava Alberstein with Danny Granat, Songs by Rachel. I guess from what I can gather from the English liner notes here, it's partly in English. These are poems written earlier in the 20th century that they sing. Kind of folky points, I would say kind of bluesy and jazzy as well. There was one other one by her there that I left behind. I might actually go back and see if it's still there. A couple more. There was a couple by Shuli Nathan, singer I'm not familiar with. Again, Israeli pressings. This one is called An Outing. Early 70s, I think, on this one. Head RZ label. Gorgeous cover there. I saw one of these by her described as psych folk on Discogs, so we'll see. Another one by her, Songs by Naomi Shamer. Again, got that top 1 sleeve. Early 70s on this one as well, I believe. And last one by her, Songs of Praise. So I haven't listened to these ones. From what I've sampled, they're kind of more on the folky side. Last couple of random finds here. Found a couple of French pop ones. Been getting into my French pop lately. This one is Jocelyn Josia, Harmonie. I think it's her only album. Haven't listened to this one yet. Polydor label. 1973. This one is René Claude. I think one is actually France. One of these is France and one is Quebec. Barclay label. Kind of a cool gatefold on there. Long John Baldry, It Ain't Easy. Seen this one many times. Never really checked him out. Cover's kind of worn on here, but the vinyl is very clean. Green Warner Brothers label. And this is partly produced by, one side is produced by Elton John, and the other by Rod Stewart, with some very nice guest stars on here. Elton John himself. Who else? Maggie Bell is on here on vocals. Ron Wood on guitars. Great blues album. He lived in my area, Vancouver, for many years, so I do see his records around sometimes. Different haul. This is a couple of Canadian ones from the Canadian Talent Library label. Peace Train, Ben McPeak. This is kind of big band jazz, I would say. A little bit soulful at times. Kind of covers of pop hits. Still in shrink. 1969, 1970-ish on that one. And one other one was there at the same day on the same Canadian Talent Library label, also around the same period. John Perron, Alma Sol de Juan. This is a classical guitar acoustic album. It's not really stuffy or academic, though. It's quite approachable. There's pop hits like Gordon Lightfoot's Your Love's Return, what else? Scarborough Fair, Windmills of Your Mind, those kind of songs. And they're just very warm and approachable, and very nice sound quality on this too, and beautiful condition. Last couple of finds, Charlie Rich on Sun Records at the thrift store. Couldn't pass that up. Great kind of rock and roll, rockabilly, country. They mix it all up at Sun. Grover Washington Jr. Feels So Good. I guess this originally came out on the CTI label. This is a reissue on Motown, 1975. Produced by Creed Taylor, arranged by Bob James, so you know what you're getting here. Jazz funk, good stuff. And last one, another thrift find. This is quite the thrift video. Buddy Knox, his debut. I think 1957-ish, 58 on this one. Got his big hit Party Doll. In pretty decent condition too. Apex label, Canadian original. And Party Doll, got lots of covers on here. Roy Orbison's Rock House. Mary Lou by the Everlys. Maybelline by Chuck Berry. Rock Around the Clock, of course, by Bill Haley. But just some great early rock and roll and rockabilly. So that was my my thrift haul for the last month or so. Hope you enjoyed, guys. Cheers.